Should you play low stakes for your entire career, and why or why not?
But if you close your eyes.
My response to this might be a little bit surprising to some of you. Let me explain everything. So a couple of things. You've got to ask yourself, what are your poker goals?
You have to set goals.
What are you trying to achieve? What's your end game? What are you ultimately desiring to get out of poker in the long run? Ask yourself this, because in poker, you absolutely must get ahead. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that if you're playing poker and just barely scraping by, you're broke! And paying the bills, this is just my opinion. I don't think that's a good strategy, because if ever poker goes to shit, if ever the bots completely take over or the games are just not profitable anymore, there's regulations or whatever, you don't want to be in a situation where you're strapped for cash and you have no other options. Like, you don't have any side money that you can maybe open a business or even just live for the next 5-6 months before getting a job or something like that. You want to give yourself a little bit of a buffer. You want to get ahead. You want to have money in the bank. You want to have money in investments, whatever that may be. It could be stocks, just index funds or whatever, crypto, whatever it is, right? So in my opinion, it's very important to get ahead, but there's more to the story, okay? Because eventually we're going to talk about why it definitely can be okay, yes, to play low stakes. So just hear me out on this. Not everyone can play high stakes. Let's say if I told everybody in this video,
you must play high stakes. You have to get to the highest stakes.
What's going to happen? Everyone's going to try to get to the highest stakes, and there's going to be no regs at the lower stakes or the mid stakes, which means it'll be good to play at the lower mid stakes. The question you want to really be asking yourself is, where can I realize my highest potential? Where can I play to make the most amount of money so that not only I'm covering my bills, but I'm able to put some money aside on a monthly basis or a bi-monthly basis or a yearly basis? I mean, you know, obviously with poker, there's variance. Maybe not every single month you're going to be able to put some money aside, but you want to be getting ahead just in general. You always want to be putting money aside when you're playing poker for a living, right? You can't put poker on your resume. No job is gonna see poker as a legitimate thing on your resume. They're gonna be like, okay, you were unemployed for many years. This isn't good. If you play poker for a living, if you've made that decision to play poker for a living, make sure that you get good enough that you're putting money aside as well. So you have to ultimately ask yourself, the stakes that you're currently playing right now, whether it be $5 games, $10 games, $20 games, $50 games, whatever it is, are you making enough money so that you're able to put some of that aside on a monthly basis? Or are you making just enough to pay the bills? Or are you making not even enough to pay your bills? If the answer is, I'm just making enough money to pay my bills, or I'm not even able to pay my bills, then you really need to make some sort of big pivot. So you need to ask yourself then, what can I do to make enough money or more than enough money so that I can start putting money aside? What can I do? Is it to move down in stakes? Is it to move up in stakes? Is it to study a whole lot more? Is it to change my entire approach? Just look at people around you. Are there people that are making a lot more money than you? Do an audit on how much money is possible to be made at the stakes that you're playing. Now, some of you watching this video, you might get to a place where you're thinking, Jack, you know, I've tried everything. I've studied as much as I can, and I'm just not able to beat these $10 games, or I'm not able to win enough on a monthly basis in these $10 games, and I've tried all I can. I don't want to study more. GTO is overwhelming. Maybe it's better for you and your mental health to just quit poker and get a normal job, okay? And I know that sounds scary to a lot of people. The normal job is just like a very heart-wrenching thing to hear for a poker player. Like, don't tell me to quit. If you tried everything, be honest with yourself though. Have you tried everything? If you have, you're like, I've tried everything. It's just not working out for me. I just can't seem to figure this thing out. I don't know what it is. I can't put 2 and 2 together. I just can't win at this game. And it's negatively affecting my life emotionally and yada, yada, yada. If that's you, it could be best to call it quits and move to a different career path. Now, am I saying you should do that? For most people, 90%, I would say 95%, I would say no. Poker is still extremely profitable. When I say extremely profitable, it's not as profitable as it was 4 or 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever. But as a stable owner, I get to see how much people are making in poker, and it's very, very, very possible to be making enough money not only to pay your bills, but to get ahead, and to get ahead by a lot, okay? So if it's possible, then all you gotta do is ask yourself, what processes and systems can I put into play where I'm getting better at this game on a daily basis? Because this is the kind of game, if you're not getting ahead, if you're not getting better than your opponents, if you're not studying enough GTO, if you're not doing the exploit work, if you're not doing the work, you're gonna fall behind, right? It's such a beautiful game because we have so much freedom playing this game, right? We make our own hours. We're playing a game for a living, but at the same time, this game causes a lot of heartache as well. Like, you might go on bad downswings and get to a situation where you're just like, poker's kind of, there's so many highs and lows, right? The negative emotions that come along with it sometimes can feel overwhelming. The positive emotions that come along with it can sometimes feel overwhelming, you know, where your ego just gets out of control. You're like, oh man, I'm crushing this game. It's so easy. I feel so good. Life is amazing, right? When things are going well in poker, everything's going good. You're just like, you're on top of the world. When things are going bad, everything's going bad, you know? So you got to factor all these things in, right? If you move up in stakes, you're going to have to deal with more of those emotions. That's the main point here. Now, if you continue to play low stakes, you might not make as much money as you want. What's the conclusion here? I think for the majority of people watching this video, you want to try to move up in stakes, but don't force it. Don't be stubborn about it, right? So in my opinion, try to move up in stakes as high as you can to the point where you feel emotionally somewhat comfortable, where the swings are not absolutely destroying your soul, and at a level where you can make enough money to get ahead, like we talked about earlier in this video, while studying as much as you can without overwhelming yourself, okay? So there's a lot of moving parts here. With studying, I always recommend you want to do like 10 to 20 minutes per day, every single day, if you can, studying GTO drills and things like that. And the reason why I say only 10 to 20 minutes and not like 1 hour and 2 hours, because when you study so much in poker, you can get to a point where you're gonna feel overwhelmed with the amount of study that you're doing. And I don't want you to hit that point. So it's much better to do a little bit of studying on a daily basis, get that confidence, build that confidence step by step by step, so that it doesn't feel overwhelming on a daily basis. And that's gonna give you the best chance at moving up in stakes and maximizing your earning potential. It's a combination of playing low stakes, but being better than everybody else at those stakes. So studying your ass off. Or playing mid stakes and being better than everybody else at those stakes. Playing high stakes and being better than everybody else at those stakes. So if you study, if you're smart about it, poker can become an amazing source of income, and you can put that extra money into investments like stocks, crypto, maybe you want to put a down payment on a house or whatever it is. You have to have those things with poker. So if you're one of those players that's only making enough money just to pay the bills, make this video the video that really inspires you to put in more study in your daily routine so that you can finally be at a place where you're gonna start getting ahead in poker, and you're going to start studying more, and you're gonna feel better once this happens, guys. That's the key here. You're gonna start feeling better once you get all these things aligned. So if you like this video, share the video with all of your poker friends, like the video, comment, let me know what video you guys want to see next. I'm open to shooting videos about anything, guys, whether it comes to mental game, poker, strategy, whatever you want to see, drop it in the comments down below. I'll put it on my list of videos to make, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.